Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. We today have something special. I joined the Improvers Marathon on the ImproversChess.com club. And basically, the Improvers Club is a club where people are learning, people are trying to get better, and people are trying to improve at their chess. And well, I decided to go into this Improvers Marathon tournament hosted by the club. And basically, you have 60 plus 10. That is your time control. You have 5 rounds and 1 game per 2 weeks. So basically, we have lots of time to figure out who our opponents are and when to schedule a time. And then there are different sections. And I played in the 1600 plus section, so I was in the advanced section. And my goodness, this was quite the tournament. Had a lot of fun, had a lot of things to learn, and my goodness, it was great. I had a lot of fun, and I just want to show you all 5 of the games. I think this will be very important for every single person watching. So in the first round, I got paired against Z, and Z is from Spain, and I did a little bit of kind of opening prep against him, and he plays E4. And so, what do you do when you play E4? We just go with our Carcon. And I know the Carcon pretty well. So we get the Knight C3 variation, and I wanted to go into a Tartakower, but he played this Queen D3 variation. And what I know from this variation is that you can take, but I kind of don't want to do that right away. And I'd rather have him take me first and then bring my knight and transpose this over. This is kind of like a Karpov variation, but in the Karpov you play knight d7 first. I didn't want to do that because I was fine with playing a Tartakower. I have some theory in the Tartakower that is pretty fun. And we get this position, I take, I now transpose my knight to f6, and I just play simple chess, and now I fianchetto to g7. And this is kind of an inaccurate move. And I kind of wanted to figure out a different way on how to deal with this kind of attack where he brings in the queen, he brings in the knight, he brings in the bishop and tries to sack and stuff. And then h4, h5, which could get really dangerous. But I wanted to fianchetto, kind of keep everything on the light squares for the pawns, still have a bishop. Yes, this bishop is bad, but I plan to play e5 at some point, or even c5, and then go for b6, and then fianchetto my bishop, on the light squares. He goes knight to e5. I continue with my plan, and now this gets really interesting because now I play a very important move. What do you do here? Well, I thought maybe do c5 now, but I don't think the reason c5 works is because after something like takes, he's just got a great position. He just gonna go bishop here and long castle, and then I'm gonna have to be dealing with the attack right away. And so I wanted to start the initiative with queen d5 and just simply attack the rook. You can't really castle long. I don't know why you would castle long after playing something like g4. It would just be a terrible move, and if he tried to push, I just move my knight to h5, and black has a nice position here, but I was hoping maybe we can like trade queens or something. But none of that happens. He just plays rook to g1, and now I strike with c5. And c5 is now important because after takes, this position looks nice. I can always bring my knight back to d7, try and get this knight off its outpost on e5, and just chip and try and not allow him to attack my position with tempo. And so I play c5, and he just goes for it, h4. And I thought, okay, he's good at attack, but even if he tries to chip here, my defenses are good. And he could try and go for like h5, h6, but at the end of the day, I mean, this is fine for me. I play c takes d, he plays that back, and now I play the crucial move, knight to d7. This is very, very crucial because now I'm attacking this 3 different ways, and this knight is no longer going to be here for very long. And against a 2100, this is the position I want. I think white just overexposed themselves, pushed all these pawns, hasn't castled, still in the center of the board. At some point, you're going to have to play bishop e3, but it's just too late. After takes here, e5, and you can't stop the attack. Like, it's going to get bad. Like, if you just try and lazily go back here, there's takes, there's here, and then there's rook e8 check. And this is just disgusting. You go back, there's this. And it's just game over. And you can't take because of the pin. And so, yeah, this just got really bad for the white pieces very fast. And so, yeah, he had to take here. And so I took his bishop, and now I'm up a full bishop. I just try to make sure everything is solid. Yeah, he also blundered a pawn. I had to get the bishop out of the way first, and I was able to collect 2 pawns. I'm up a piece and a pawn as well, and then I'm just fully attacking. He can try and attack here, but there's nothing going for him. I mean, you can give me checks all day, but this the calculation is this. You can't give a check right away, and yeah, it's pretty much over. Oh yeah, he can go here, but after something like rook here, like he can't take my bishop because the queen defends, and something like this is what he played, rook d or king d7, and I'm completely safe. And actually, I think he just loses the queen on the very next move. I think he has to sack, and it's just over. And after king d7, my opponent resigned, and yeah, I didn't even use my clock. I mean, I used only 7 minutes, and I have 10-second increments. So I mean, I know my theory pretty well. So we go 1 for 1, and then the very next game, I play a guy from India, Pranesh, and this game was quite interesting. In fact, I'm gonna put on the analysis for you guys, but that was the ending of the game. But the opening was quite interesting. We get a Caro-Kann, and we play the fantasy variation of the Caro-Kann. And I know certain ideas. I actually kind of had to think about this for quite a long time. There is e5, but the problem with after e5 and this is that it just transfers into the nitty gritty, and you just go here and here, and it just turns into a French. I'm not looking for a French, and so I've actually strayed away from that. And so what do? Well, I go bishop e3, which is the second best move. He goes here. I attack the knight now. I play f4 now, and still Caro-Kann because I get this bishop out. And after takes, and he plays this, white apparently has an advantage. I don't even know how, but I played it entirely incorrectly. And there's so many moves for white. Apparently, him trading off the bishop is bad because he just has a bad bishop, no development, and hasn't castled yet. And something like queen h5 or g4 or h4 going for the attack already would have won the game. But I don't know any better. I played knight to f3, and I played it very, very passively. I played g4 now, which was too late because now he just brings the rest of his pieces in. And then I played queen d2. I'm not sure what queen d2 was, but now he just is going to walk in and try and go after my c3 pawn. And that's exactly what he does. He does exactly that. He takes a pawn, and then he just pushes his other pawn, and little do I know that I'm pretty much down. Also, you can see the different rating that I was at. I think I was at 1989, and then this one I'm at 1910, so I was probably tanking, probably wasn't feeling great. And I just ended up losing this game in quick fashion, lost in a fork, and then he just trades off the rest of my pieces. This is promoting. And I resigned after 27 moves. I mean, this is just a terrible game. I really should have maybe thought about, going and trying to find these different ideas and exploiting him from not getting into my position so fast. Even something like, yeah, like maybe after knight f3, maybe I should have played something like, yeah, come to think of it, yeah, maybe just h4 now. Yeah, h4, and then h5 and h6, and just kept storming, bring the knight to g5. I think that's what I should have done, but none of that happened. And I just allowed him to enter into my queen side. So that was a learning experience. But then we have our next game. And this is where I'm near rock bottom. And I was 1899 at this point, I believe. Or maybe I wasn't. No, I was even lower than that. I was 1888. So I'm at a point where I'm at an all-time low. But I'm like, you know what? We got to go for this. We got to go for a win. And well, what do we play? We play no other than an opening I've been exploring and having a lot of fun with. And actually had some recent over-the-board success at the rapid level with it. I think I had a game that was like 98% accuracy over the board with this opening. And that's the Grunfeld, ladies and gentlemen. And the Grunfeld is really sharp because you basically have to control the center with pieces instead of pawns. And so, yeah, he gets this pawn majority, but you have to attack with c5 now. And if you take, it can give you checks and stuff and just fight for this position. And yeah, this is all theory based. Bishop e3 is what he plays. He defends this pawn, hopes to, keep that structure alive. I take now because you have to, otherwise you lose the pawn. I play the knight out, and then I play b6. Now b6 is inaccurate. What it really wanted me to do is play bishop g4, but I don't get bishop g4. It just gets kicked out. I think it's black's initiative to just kind of like weaken squares for the pawns, and then black can have a somewhat way of getting into the game. But I played b6 because I thought, maybe knight a5 would be good, bishop b7, different ideas. And that's kind of what we get. In fact, we are +1, and I completely hang this. And I'm like, oh, come on. Like, you're serious? I take, and then he plays this. And so white has a very comfortable advantage. But you gotta understand, man. I'm a fighting spirit. Rook to c8. We trade, and he plays this. And this is bad because of one move and one move only. Queen c4. And you're probably thinking, Taken, why are you back in the game? Well, the queen is kind of now in a position where it has to trade. And after the trade, black is just better. Black now has to defend a knight. The rook comes in. Look who's coming into town. You have to defend it. And guess what? I can sack. And that's exactly what I do. I'm up the pawn. Brilliant move. Can't take because the bishop takes. He takes here now. And this is not right. Because now I can attack that pawn. And I'm just winning a pawn. And that's the thing about the Grunfeld. If you're up the pawn in the Grunfeld, you have a high chance of winning a game. And it's very sharp. It's very sharp, but it's a lot of fun. And so we play a couple more moves. He attacks. I kind of try to get into the position. And then I give him a check. I give him another check. And this happens. Absolutely tragic. And the game is over. All because you had to keep your queen active. And it's funny because this isn't that crazy of a position for white to figure out. I mean, you just have two pawns. You just need to push those pawns. You just need to centralize your bishop. My bishop's completely offside. When you voluntarily try and get greedy, bad things happen. And in fact, black just was positionally better after this. And when tactics came, And when push came to shove, black really just had everything in their favor. And yeah, won tactically. So we go 2 for 3. And that was against a 2000. And then our next game, we're back to 2000. So we jump 100 points. But it's still not easy because we're playing another 2100. You gotta understand, these tournaments are full of sweats. And just when I thought it was gonna be crazy, we face another Karakhan. We had 2 wins with white, you know? Or actually, sorry, 2 wins with black. And a loss with white. So we're doing great with black. Now we have to win with a game with white. Push comes to shove. We do the same thing. We get a mainline fantasy. And it's about to get crazy. You have to take here, you know, and the position now for white, you just need to keep developing. E5 is now the move. You can't let the knight roam around and gain a pawn, so you have to kick out the knight. I try to trade off the queens. We trade off the queens, and this is a great position for the white pieces. In fact, look, it says 0.6. This is nice, because now we can go here, knight here, castles, rook c1. Game is looking nice. He goes here. We bring back to protect, and then we pin. And now we had to play takes. But we played knight e2 because it just makes sense to just keep developing your pieces. But then I forget about knight b4 and this. I guess it's better because now black gets active, but I completely forgot about it. He didn't see it. I didn't see it. He goes here. I take. I play here to stop any infiltration. And now the game is simple. I start to bring my king in, and I thought this was super, super gangster of me. Because if you were to take here, that would be great. And that's exactly what he does. And I'm fine with this because this bishop was bad because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pawns are in dark squares. And now my king is more active. His king is less active. If this gets into an endgame of king and pawns, I'm favorable. He goes and attacks. I bring my knight into an amazing square. Knight on d6, controlling a lot. And then it's just a matter of just bringing the pawns in. I think I was scared. I think I played g3. G4 is the move. Just g4 and f4. And then you play for f5. I think I was playing this to try and play this, but then I realized, no, his bishop becomes active on the square. And, you know, it's just a matter of you just need to push these pawns because his pawns can't really move. They're kind of subjected to this, just stay there. And so I push, I take, and apparently he had a tactic here. What was the tactic? I have to try and think about this again. I think it's just rook b4, yeah. And now he just gets into the position, he doubles up. And I missed that. But I didn't miss it from there. He just took because he thought, oh, 2 pawns together, perfectly fine. But there's a problem because now I'm attacking the pawn that needed the most protection. And he can't bring either of his rooks because of this absolutely disgusting knight. He goes here. We trade. I play knight to c8. Absolutely gorgeous. Trying to get rid of this bishop because this bishop's really going to be annoying. It's on a nice outpost. And I just thought this was a beautiful move. I think it's actually the best move. It's one of the best moves. But yeah, I go here. He gets a pawn. I realize that I'm going to be losing this pawn no matter what. And so after the trade, now I'm attacking the pawn. And if he tries to go here, I'm just there. You know. He gives a check. And in fact, he should just keep checking. Like, you're going to be losing a pawn and you don't want to be down a pawn in a rook and pawn endgame. That's usually not the way. But he miscalculates. And he doesn't understand the position to its full limit. Because in this position, he takes my rook. And it's bad. And the reason why it's bad is because after king takes, guess who has the more active king? My king can walk to this pawn. I don't even need to take it now. I can just wait, shuffle my rooks to defend the king, shield the king, eat one pawn. None of these pawns can move. And then I can just bring my own passers. And that's exactly what happens. I bring my one rook in. I cut off his king. His king has no way to get out. And I just trade. And this is favorable. This is a favorable endgame. You can't do anything. You can't do anything. And you can't do anything. And that's exactly what happens. I just push my pawns. I take here. This looks like it's going, but I just box it out. There's nothing you can do in the box. And now I just throw all my pawns in front. I go back because I realized he can't do much. He can go here, check, here. Well, I wouldn't do that now, but I would do it later. And I'm just coming here to eat one pawn and then eat the other. And so, yeah, we go 3 for 4. And it's not over because we have one more game. And guess what we play? No other than a Grunfeld defense. There's been 2 openings that have been just absolutely stellar for me. The Karakan and the Grunfeld. And well, this is just a perfect example. And this is the last game I got to play. This guy was also like 3 for 4. He was cooking as well. And shout out to my man because he is also from Canada. I think he's around 1700 CFC and FIDE. And we get this more 3 knights approach. And I played this C6 variation. Kind of like a Slav, but not really. And he plays like a more Catalan-esque setup. But the thing about this is that it's good for black. In fact, it's good because you win a pawn. And yeah, you get the center, but I just have this. And this is basically unbeatable. And I say this unbeatable because he tried to break it open. If I played something like a6, then this is bad. Because I'd lose the rook. But you gotta understand, this pawn had protection of 1 square. And now I can just push forward and bring my a5 pawn. And this is just, you can't beat this. You can't beat this. You try to attack, I bring my knight to e5. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, this is a beautiful position. If you go look at White's position, look at how squished all of his pieces are now. All because I had these pawns. And these pawns are just in great shape. And that's what happened. So he goes here. I could take this, but I don't want to take this. In fact, why would I take an inactive piece for a piece that's controlling a lot of squares? It's kind of something you need to know at a certain level. Some trades are worth more than others. And that's something I've learned at the high level. I just played bishop to f5. I think this is just a good developing move. But then I realized that there was kind of a cost to that because after rook c1, I'm like, oh, this pawn is hanging. So I decided to play a very, very slick move. I decided to take here and then play bishop to e6. And, okay, it's slightly inaccurate, but the reason for bishop to e6 is because it protects this pawn, but it protects this pawn, and then it also threatens c3. And c3 is just a full win of a knight. I thought of also playing bishop to d3, but I thought after something like b5, it doesn't hold that much power. Or, sorry, you go here, and then let's say you play another move. It doesn't hold much power after this. That's what I thought. And I didn't like the bishop here because if there are tactics, I could easily lose my bishop or lose the pawn here. And I kind of needed to hold that pressure. So we go bishop back and then we push. And I mean, this was very subjective. I mean, I could have just gone here and held this as well, but I thought this was better because I'm still winning the knight. He goes here, and then I play bishop to h6, attacking, threatening these 2 things. Also, this is also under attack. Lots of different variables going on. I play queen to b6, develop my queen finally, and then just bring the rest of my pieces in. He goes here, attacking. Very, very understandable, but I realize I just have c5. I play rook c8 first, but then I do play c5. And this is coming, this is coming, this is coming, this, like, all my pieces are active. There's nothing that the white position can do to save itself. Like, these knights are in abysmal shape. And, well, after this, it looks like I'm losing my bishop, but there's just e5. I'm attacking your queen with tempo. And now, look at this move. Absolutely beautiful. Sacking the knight and just getting absolutely hammered with this. I mean, what can you do, right? White is in disarray. He goes here. I just win his rook, and I end up winning the game. I mean, he could have done something like this. You know, could have tried and won my bishop in some sort of fashion, but like everything was just together. I'm trying to now go for tactics of trying to maybe smothers mate even, but like I said, he goes here, and the position gets fun. Yeah, like rook c4, and then takes, and then after he goes here, like rook e4, just lights out, game over. Can't really do much. I go here. Apparently, I just missed mate in two. Yeah, there's just this, and now this. I had the same idea, but I just didn't execute it properly. Um, I thought this was good, just as good. And then I was gonna play this, but I just played the wrong move order. Now he plays knight takes to stop this, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, and then yeah, still defending, but I just go here, win his knight, and the game is over. An absolute masterclass of a Grunfeld opening. We go 2 for 2 with the Grunfeld. I mean, the first Grunfeld was a little bit rough when we came back and won with tactics, and this one we also won tactically as well. Karo Khan is good. The, you know, some of the other openings with white, we might have to continue to improve on. Specifically, our Karo Khan with the white pieces, but we'll get there. And we end off the tournament scoring uh, 4 out of 5. And I'd say that's been pretty good, pretty good for us. And we're also at our peak rapid reading rating, not reading, our peak rapid rating of 21-21. And man, it's been exciting. It's been quite a journey. 5.5 years of nonstop grinding of chess. I'm telling you, it does a man insane. And but it's been worth it. And my word, I feel like I'm in peak form, peak condition, and I'm getting better. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. This is Taken, and I'm out.